servant. This is a story told in reverse. I was recently in Golden Gate, a neighborhood in the Riverdale community of Chicago. Vernon Avenue is a gravel road extending south from 134th Street, which dead ends about 200 feet from the Little Calumet River. I was coming down Vernon and hoping to find a hole in the fence so I could go west toward the train bridge. I could see there was an opening. A boat was blocking my way, and I was squinting to see if there was a way through. Just as I was about to dismount my bike to look more closely, I saw something out of the corner of my eye. An abandoned building, painted teal, piles of garbage all around, and a vehicle missing not only its wheels, but also its doors. I have explored deserted structures all over the country, but this one seemed especially forsaken. I was getting a strong vibe not to go inside, so I made a quick look through the property and went on my way. But since then, this has been bothering me. The same old question struck me. How was it possible that time and neglect had overtaken this place to this extent? Aren't all buildings at some point the home to people and experiences, maybe even good ones? I started with Google Maps. They list the structure as 454 or 450 East 134th Street. This didn't make sense as 134th Street is a block north. The only street view is from July 2019. 2 people are seen walking back towards 134th. There's a gate up. 3 vehicles are seen parked with tall weeds all around them, and there are no piles of garbage anywhere. I wanted to find the tax records for the property, but I don't have a PIN. So I tried the Google Maps addresses at the Cook County Assessor's website, but they were all invalid. I tried to search by township, but it forces you to choose from a list of numbered neighborhoods. I could not find any guide to identify the neighborhoods, so I just started checking a few at random. I started with the last one in the list, which is 280, as Riverdale is about as far south as you can go. It looked like this was mostly Hegewisch or parts of South Deering. I was getting warmer. So I tried 260, which was the previous entry, and I saw the first addresses were at 133rd in Indiana, so I knew I was getting closer. On page 15, I found a bunch of similar addresses on 134th Place, but when I took a look at the photos, none were mine. This wasn't working. So I went to the Cook County Land Bank Authority in the hopes that maybe the property was listed there, but there was nothing in Riverdale at all. That's when I remembered the Cook County Viewer. This located it instantly. The photos shown here from 2007 even display a sign for Skipper's Marina and proclaim home of the Downscope. More on this later. There are 8 lots, and the photos are the same for all of them. The pins are consecutive, 25, 34, 307, 001 through 008. The taxes have not been paid for years on any of the lots, and the total taxes across all 8 for 22 alone is about $15,000. All 8 properties are registered to the same entity, Prologue Incorporated. A Google search produces results for their social media pages, but no website. Their Facebook and Instagram all went dark around the same time. Their Twitter bio states, Prologue Incorporated is a Chicago-based nonprofit organization founded in 1973 that provides education and support services to disadvantaged neighborhoods. Their most recent post on Facebook is an article about the purchase of this property and how they intend to turn it into a maritime training facility. The proposed name for the training school is William Tillman Maritime Academy, and it discussed a potential opening in 2016. A Google search for that name produces another post from their Facebook from 2014 about an article in the Chicago Tribune with the headline, Maritime School Expected to Open for Troubled High School Students. Let's go back to the photos on the Cook County Assessor's website. The sign from 2007 lists a URL of skippersmarina.com, which is dead. Running that through archive.org produces some results. First capture is from 2001, and the website is very simple, just a single page. By 2003, the website was more fleshed out. I was most interested in a page labeled Party Pics, but the Wayback Machine did not archive most of them. I was able to find 4 of the 25, and they are all gems. The homepage references downscope.net as well. This was archived 15 times between 2003 and 2006, but all captures are identical. Just a home page with a single photo and links to a bare-bones AOL site on the Marina. Continuing to Google search for Downscope led me to an identically named Facebook page. All the photos show people in 2010 at the Marina having a blast. They are drinking some kind of nuclear green cocktail. There are jugs of the stuff everywhere. The Google search results also produce a 2016 article from WTTW, which is Chicago's PBS station. Skipper's Marina opened in the 1940s. The original owner, Earl Strombeck, invented the Marina's signature cocktail, the Downscope, in the 70s. Their son, Paul, aka Skip, took over in the 80s. Downscopes were sold in bulk as half-gallon jugs to take out onto the water. The Marina closed in 2010, and Skip passed away in 2013. Even his obituary finds a guestbook entry from a Downscope aficionado. The property went on the market in 2012 and was sold to Prologue just a couple weeks after he passed away for $225,000. The WTTW article and accompanying video have the only recipe for this cocktail I could find anywhere, credited to a cousin of Skip's. Jeffrey Baer and Phil Ponce are the last journalists on Earth who should be reporting on the topic, as it is clear they wouldn't be caught dead in a place like Skipper's Marina. I didn't seek the Downscope. The Downscope rooted me out of my rusty cage and brought me here to share the good news with you. To find the history of this place immediately makes me want to share it, and I might have done that even if I had the convenience of being able to skip to the end of the story. But I didn't have that luxury. All I had was a crumbling building on a cold January morning and a search for a tax bill that might point me in the right direction to tell me the story that I longed to hear. There are surely many people far more qualified to speak on the topic than I, but considering how little information I could find, I am commandeering the history of 13421 South Vernon Avenue for the good of anyone who likes to enjoy a beverage with their friends on or off the water. I wish that I could say that Jeffrey Baer's journalism provided the bulletproof recipe for the Downscope that everybody wants. This is not the case. For starters, the quantities don't make sense. He specifies a half-gallon jug and tells you to use a half-gallon of mixer. That leaves no room for even an ounce of liquor. That's a problem. And he calls for a quart of lime juice. Even with a quart of OJ to try to balance that acidity, that would be a very tough imbibe. I can't believe that this can be correct. Then I found my Rosetta Stone. There's a lot to unpack here. First of all, note the reference to lime drink and not lime juice. Big difference. Lime juice is fresh squeezed or comes in a little green bottle. It ain't nothing but from a lime. Lime drink is leaning closer to the Kool-Aid family of beverages. Highly sweetened, not super acidic. This makes sense. So this sends us off to the drawing board to crunch some numbers. He specifies equal parts of all four components. I think what he really means is equal parts mixer and equal parts liquor. 20 ounces of OJ and lime, 12 ounces of gin and rum. That brings us to 64 ounce total with nice round numbers, very simple math. This is a formula that makes sense. If you pour 8 drinks out of that jug, that's 8 ounces a serving with 3 shots in your cup. That's gonna do the job. For the OJ, I knew I had to have that signature tall half-gallon jug with the handle. I found Dutch Farms at my local grocery. It has very low pulp and it is not very tart, so I think it'll do nicely. I racked my brain for a home juice style product that I can get today, and Mr. Pure came to mind. I grabbed a chilled quart of the lime drink at the corner store. For rum, regular old Bacardi would be fine. I'm using a bottle of Cruzan white rum because I had it around. Gin is an interesting addition. Using 2 different liquors is a big step, but making one of them gin is a giant leap. Gin is not a neutral spirit. The juniper will be mostly buried beneath the rest of the payload, but it will add some kind of subtle complexity to the mix. I want to keep the botanicals pretty much at bay, so I had to reach for the bumpy bottle. That leaves the food coloring. The lime drink is very vivid, but when mixed with orange, it will likely turn a shade of gray. Probably won't take more than a couple drops to get her done. After a couple days of intense research, getting very studious, it's time to take a break. I've got my fanciest highball glass here. It's time for Downscope. I'm not sure what I taste most. I mean, the orange juice is probably the predominant thing, but there's something. I'm tasting the orange juice through a fog of other flavors. It has like no real aroma, lightly boozy. It really is not very boozy at all. There's a lot of liquor in that jug. I'm not really getting it. I mean, you could tell that it's alcoholic, but it's not like where you cringe. I'm not sure if I got the color exactly right. Looking at some of the photos, I think I added maybe 6 drops of food coloring total. And that I was absolutely correct in my theory that it was really ugly without the food coloring. That's pretty beautiful now. Very lime colored, light green, citrus colored. I'll be sipping on this for a few days. I'm not sure. I'll have a couple more tonight, I guess. Skipper's Marina. Shout out to a legend. Legendary drink, legendary place, legendary people. This is my small tribute to you. Cheers. Hoist your Downscope high.